You are live, my friend.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. No more World Cup. Don't worry. We got a lot coming at you. Gianni the Greek's going to join us. We are going to talk the Steam report. Krackman's going to join us, see if he's got a prop for today. We'll get his thoughts on the World Cup and where we're at in the dog days of summer. And then Steve Merril is going to join us. We gave away a free 3-day pass when Steve and I wore the same shirt. So we'll announce that when Steve comes on. He's going to break down Dodgers, Phillies, and Orioles versus Red Sox. But you guys know what to do. 30 seconds in, we got to give away a free play. So let's go to the WNBA for a player prop that I like tonight. We're going to go to the Mystics versus the Valkyries. They just played each other the other night. We're going to take Shakira Austin to over 13.5 points. She's been really good, 17 plus points in 4 straight. She just had 18 against this Valkyries team. She's dealt with a lot of injuries in her career, really derailed a couple seasons for her, but she's healthy and she's playing 30 minutes per game. You dig deep into the stats. She's getting 12 shot attempts per game. She's making at least 5 of them. She's drawing 5 fouls per game in the last 4 games, and she's made 28 free throws the last 5 games. So she's getting to the line. That's where some of her production is coming from, and she's got a 2-inch height advantage over the Valkyries center. So I think it sets up well for her today. This is probably going to be a rock fight. These two teams, they get into some low-scoring affairs, but I think Shakira Austin's going to be the main point scorer for Washington. So that's going to be your play of the day, 13.5 points for Shakira Austin. All right, let's bring in Gianni. We got a lot to go over, Gianni. And first off, Gianni, congratulations are in order. Spain comes through big for you. Congratulations on that hit. How's it feel?
Never better. I'm glad the right thing happened and Spain won that game yesterday, because nothing would have been worse than if they would have went to the shootout and Argentina would have got the W without taking a single shot on goal. I think at that point, Americans would have been like, we were right. Let's not dive into soccer like the rest of the world, because you could, play perfectly, win the entire game, and then lose on the shootout. That would be like in the NFL. If they played an entire game, then they played overtime, and then they were like, well, let's just hang a tire by the goalpost and we'll pick 5 players. They got to throw the football, and whoever gets the football through the fucking car tire more wins the game. How does that make any sense?
Listen, we had a 5% on under 3.5 in regulation and Spain to lift the trophy, and we were all thinking the exact same thing. We were like, my God, Argentina's playing to go to penalty kicks. If this gets to penalty kicks, like, we've just placed a perfect bet. The game scenario went better than expected, and we might be going to penalty kicks. We had we were terrified about that, but best team won. You're right.
Right now, I'm betting Luca Van Ash, live bet in tennis, minus 270, and I'm firing right now. Minus 270. It's live. I've been originating my own tennis, working with my quant. He's done really, really well. Make a long story short, I've found a lot of live opportunities using his implied win odds by finding some of these matchups that are like tied 1-1 in the sets, or even my guys behind. Like, we have Ash winning this matchup 98% of the time. Like, this is what my guy came up with, 98% of the time. And he's down 1 game in the first set. So at anything less than minus 400, like, all day we're going to fire, and done that the last couple days and made a lot of money doing it. One thing I do want to state to all bookmakers out there, and I'm not talking about the ones on screen. I'm talking to all the bookies out there that are now attaching, like they did in the past, but now it's every time you log in, you see a little note that says about using a bot. Do not use a bot. If you use a bot, we're not going to pay you. No plays bet with a bot. That kind of nonsense. And it's so foolish. They're using it as an excuse not to pay winning bettors when it's the most foolish type of rule. And here's why. It reminds me of when I moved here to Vegas. and you weren't allowed to use two-way communications in the sports book. Like if you had any two-way communication, they threw you out. In fact, I had a earpiece and a mic on inside my shirt. That's how we communicated with the office. You couldn't have a cell phone. You couldn't have anything. If they saw you with a cell phone, they threw you out. You couldn't take pictures in the sports book. None of that nonsense. Can you imagine now in 2026 if they told you can't have a cell phone in the sports book, how stupid that sounds? Like, what are you going to do with that cell phone that the sports book should be so afraid of? Well, it's the same thing that's going to happen eventually with these bots. Every 20-year-old kid betting is going to be using a bot because that's just normal. AI is now on everyone's fingertips. The bot doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't click the wrong team. It doesn't put in the wrong amount. Like, that's why everyone's going to eventually get there. Just like everyone eventually got to a cell phone. It wasn't just sharp bettors that had cell phones. It was everyone had a cell phone. It's the same thing with using bots. Eventually, it's going to be so simple. More people are going to be using them. And it's not like the bot gives you the advantage. You have to program it. You know, understand what I mean? Like, the bot's simply placing the bets for you. It's not like it's determining the winner. Obviously, you could create algorithms to pick off opportunities for hedges. I mean, for scalps and arbitrage. I get it. That I understand. But as far as bots to place bets and them using that as an excuse not to pay, it's going to sound so archaic in a couple years. Just remember that it's going to sound as foolish as telling people not to bring a cell phone into the sports book. We're just a few years away from that. I'm sorry I had to say that because I woke up this morning, shut off from 3 accounts because of the future that hit, and then every other account with the warning signs. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I had to get that off.
See, I'm in Indianapolis. I don't get those when I log into like DraftKings or BetMGM or FanDuel. I don't get those. Not yet. Maybe they're coming.
No, they don't do them. They don't. Exactly. It's the bookies, the off-screen bookies. You nailed it. Like the MGMs, the Caesars, those, they're not going to do that. If they don't want your action, they're just going to cut you off. They're not, because they know they're going to pay you. Like, these bookies are using this now as an excuse not to pay people. Oh, you bet, you use the bot. What did the bot do? It simply just placed the bets for me, so I don't have to log in for myself and do it. You know what I mean? They're using it as an excuse not to pay people. And it's gotten ridiculous.
Are we seeing any steam today? Now, I mean, we don't have any World Cup. We're down to the nitty gritty. We're down to tennis. We're down to WNBA. We're down to MLB. I still find opportunities in the markets. What are you seeing?
Yes. Couple WNBA overnights that got hit. Golden State at -7.5 and 8, and the under, a low under of 147. I think it's at 145 right now. And then they went under in the Vegas Toronto game as well at 183. Major League Baseball. 902 Philadelphia -130. 903 San Diego got hit multiple times. 140, 135, 130 at plus. 912 Toronto -135, 140. 921 Detroit +110. 927 Athletics +140. So all dog action except for Philadelphia. And then I'll give you a total as well. 924 over 8.5 Miami Houston, and 930 over 8.5 St. Louis LA. Those are definitely nines, at least right now. They're getting ahead of those, nines like we see all the time, either going under 9.5 or over 8.5, usually on the overnights. But we have seen a little bit of sharp action, like you said, a lot of it in tennis. On the steam sheet, I have one in there already. It's Lazio De Gea -150, Austria. It's in a tournament in Austria. I think it goes off tomorrow morning. It got close. We had her pegged at about close to 68% where she wins this one, but at 150 break even 60, we're finding bigger edges than that, at least on implied win probability. But yeah, until we get into football, it's going to be a little bit slow, but football's right around the corner. Between now and then, like you said, we got Major League Baseball, we got some WNBA action, we got tennis, we got MMA still. And before you know it, they'll be kicking off football. And I did do videos on Friday. They should be out soon, sharing the top 10 college football, top 10 NFL. We went over math on teasers and how they can be advantageous and where they aren't. And a lot of good stuff we covered. Even a little video on closing line value. It's 2026, but it still matters.
Absolutely. It's always good to refresh those. I'll be
Yeah.
breaking down a future player prop at the end of the show. It's quarterback Monday, so I'll be doing a quarterback prop. You can never start researching too early for this stuff. So even in just me researching players, you learn a lot about the teams, the coaching staff, and the systems they're going to be playing. And I didn't realize they got a new linebackers coach. Oh, I didn't realize they're running a new defensive. So yeah, there's always work to be done in the market. There's a lot of overnight moves in WNBA. Like I'm talking
Huge
2-3
move.
point swings in WNBA. Like, MLB, you'll see a little bit of move on the juice, but I mean, I'm talking spreads and totals that drop 2-3. Why is that in WNBA? Is it just because a little bit of money can move it, or is it all respected action?
That's the questions we need to be asking, because the answers are what should steer people towards markets like these. When you see line moves that significant, it's the reflection of an inefficient market. That's exactly what it's telling you, that this market is inefficient and it takes time to reach efficiency. Unlike the NFL, which is already a very efficient market, you're not going to get that kind of movement in the NFL from the opening number to the closing number. There has to be significant injuries. There has to be something huge happening. Weather, like major weather, will affect the line. Suspensions, major injuries. It's not going to be just because some betting syndicate bet it that they're going to move it 4 points on an NFL game from an opener. But you see that in these smaller markets for two reasons. One, they're not as efficient. They don't have that confidence that whether you take side A or side B, either one is negative EV with the juice, which in a lot of the sports, they feel that way. Like whether you take side A or side B, you're taking the worst of it. We're doing just fine. So they don't have that confidence, coupled with they're not going to be able to automatically write action on the other side. Meaning, if I'm getting bet team A, I know in NFL, I adjust the line to a certain number. I'm going to limit my risk because I know there's a bunch of sharp guys waiting. That all I have to do is move the number a little bit and they're going to pounce. They're going to help me by helping me limit my risk, or I'm going to entice the public to come in on the other side. It's hard to do that in a market that's not attracting much public money. That's why you see such big swings like that. It shows you that's how beatable it is. MMA, we see the exact same thing where someone opens as the underdog and 10 minutes later, I'm talking 10 minutes within the opening number, he flips to an underdog. And that's not a knock on the odds maker or the first sports book that had the guts to go to market. It just shows you that it's not an efficient market and it's very beatable. And that's what line moves show us. Look at my guy, Ash. He's now minus 1,100 live. Minus 1,100 live. So it might sound crazy laying 370 like we did, but shit, now it's minus 1,100. I got a scalp. I could take plus 809 right now at Kalshi. Wow. Well, I should just be doing this shit all day. Just put a stream on it. We could just do this all day.
You and I were talking about live betting MMA. Let's talk about this. You were talking about how you were betting Drickus, and yes, you did so. You do exactly what we do. If you think a fight is even remotely close, I just think you have to sprinkle the 25-1, 30-1 as you get towards the end of round 3. A big shot could happen. You never know with these judges. We do it all the time. When I see a huge number and I'm like, man, judges could have given round 1, maybe find 2 judges that do it. And so I find out you do the same thing. It only needs to hit one time every once in a while, and you do well. So walk us through your live betting on
because I only released one premium on Saturday's UFC card because we had a lot going on. And I didn't have really conviction on a lot of plays. I liked like 5 plays and one big. So I unloaded on that one, gave it to subscribers, and it was like the second fight on the card. So it won. And I'm like, we had a great day already. I have Argentina and Spain tomorrow. We're going to crush this weekend. Let me not look for bets. So, I didn't release any more to subscribers, but I'm watching the screen. I'm watching the fights, and I placed a couple more bets throughout. And then it gets to the main event. And I had liked Drickus. I liked Duplessis in this matchup. I thought it made sense. The line dropped significantly. That worried me a little bit because of the sharp books that I respect most even late, they were getting a little bit of money on the dog. But I stuck with Drigas. I bet Drigas in the first round. Once it started getting late in the first round, and I saw that Usman was not going to be able to wrestle him. He's not going to even be able to control him against the cage. He's not going to be able to grapple with him. I knew it was. I felt it was just a matter of time. So I laid minus 440 on Duplessis, minus 450, minus 460. Like I bet pretty big because I had the confidence of I was up for the week. I have a big payday coming on Sunday. So I bet more than I should have, and I unloaded on Duplessis. As the fight's progressing, all of a sudden, Usman's not going away. I'm way ahead, 3 rounds to nothing, but Usman's not going away. And all of a sudden, I could get back plus like 1,100 at one point, 1,090 on Usman. I had so much risk with Duplessis between the price of minus 205 and minus 440, 450 that I had to take a little bit back on Usman because, God forbid he lands. It's fighting. Not only can Usman land a big shot, not only can Usman possibly submit him, but he could get hurt. We see that all the time.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, the judges could see it differently if it goes the whole 5 rounds. We could all see he won, but 3 guys could decide otherwise. So when that's the case, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to take advantage of that plus 1,100, and I put a couple dollars on that just to limit my exposure on the Duplessis side. Granted, I was on the right side. I felt confident, but when the market was giving me an out to make my life easy, where now I could exhale and not hold my breath for the next 10 minutes, why not take it? Again, I have no problems doing that. Like they said, no one ever went broke taking a profit. And in that case, I was in a position to take profit. You could go broke letting it ride, but you'll never go broke taking profit. Don't let all these math wizards fool you into thinking when you have too much equity, you need to, do the right thing. Because in a hypothetical world, yeah. But in the real world where we have bills, where there's inflation, where there's shit going on, like if you could get your hands on real cash, grab that shit. So yeah, don't be afraid to hedge middle when the market offers it to you. Because it will. If you place a good bet early, you'll probably have a lot of opportunity. It's an example of placing good bets gives you tons of opportunities. Placing bad bets doesn't. It's the same with the stock market. If you bought Bitcoin at 125,000 at the high because everyone was telling you it's going to 200,000 by the end of the year, right now you're scratching your head deciding what to do because you look up and it's sitting, you've lost almost half your money and you're like, wait, now what do I do? Do I buy more? Do I just eat it? What do I do? But if you would have bought at 40,000 and it got up to, 100 and now dropped to 60, 70, you're not nervous because you got in at a good price. You have nothing but options. That's the key. You don't want to paint yourself in a corner. And when you take bad numbers, when you're buying tops and selling bottoms, you're painting yourself into a corner. So the moral of the story is place good bets when they're there. And when the dust settles, you'll probably end up doing okay.
I left way too much money on this UFC card. We did good. Look at these scenarios that we had. You could fade somebody that lost on the Ultimate Fighter and they just threw her into a match. I didn't take advantage there. That's Animal Asano. Alvin Hines, who's an engineer who is now no longer on steroids. That was an easy win for Klein. How did we not clean up on that one? And my biggest boneheaded error was I didn't make any money off of Fatima Klein because I said I didn't like the number, which is just silly. I was watching that fight and I was just like, how did I not make money off of her? If she stays
healthy, that's a future strawweight champion of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to keep betting her. She's the real deal. We loved her before she got to UFC, so we've done well with her. But not having any money on Klein was just laughable. So stupid. So, but Christian Leroy Duncan came up big, and so did Jerkis. So, yeah, like you said, just keep turning a profit. You'll do good.
That's
it just bothers me when these are these cards where you just look back and you're like, God, all the opportunity was there. How did I not take advantage? But I don't know. Yeah. What do you have up for everybody on Monday?
I have the Steam sheet is back with the break over. 4% MLB. I think we're 11-4 over the last 15 best bets on the Steam sheet. So that's up and available. There's baseball on there right now. There's WNBA on there right now. And I'm going to go through and add all the tennis. So I'm going to go through each of the tournaments throughout the day and put those overnights. And because the tennis is over, they have stuff for the next 2 days up. So I'll put out everything that is borderline that we didn't fire on, but I have a strong lean and see if you guys agree. And then we're just moving on day by day, baby. And I should be releasing the NFL and college football futures very, very soon. I'm very close to putting that entire card together. So I want to send it all out at once and finalize everything. Almost there. So big couple weeks ahead. Let's do some damage.
All right, Gianni the Greek, getting us started off on a Monday. Appreciate you, Gianni. Good luck on all your bets. Big World Cup. That was a lot of fun. That was a complete home run from start to finish. I thought all the venues were really good. I thought the games were fantastic. Thought the right team ended up winning. So really good World Cup. So a couple things that are up at WagerTalk right now. We have a $5 Tuesday play that we put up early because it's a tennis play that starts like early tomorrow morning. It's a doubles play. We're coming off of a 7-2 Wimbledon run. This is our first play since Wimbledon. These doubles markets, I'm telling you, they're very gettable. So check your books. As long as you have doubles, and all the domestics should have these doubles plays up. It's only $5. It goes off first thing in the morning. So nice little wake and cash situation here. It's always good when you just wake up on a Tuesday morning in the middle of the week and there's money in your account. So that's $5. That's up. We got a 4% MLB prop that is up, 14-4 run on these props. We really don't have too many. We don't have a prop every single day most of the time. We do have props. We've been very selective, and they've been very good. So MLB 4% best bet is up. That 5% or a $5 Tuesday play is going to be up. That's a 4% play. So let's bring in Bill Krackman. Got to get his thoughts on a Monday. Bill, I don't think I've talked World Cup with you. You a soccer guy? You follow the World Cup close?
I did watch the game yesterday, and I did watch a few of the games. And at first, I was really not into the World Cup because it's soccer, and it's just like the American that I am. We're not into the soccer, but I get it. I for sure get it, and of course now I'm more of a fan of soccer than I was before the World Cup. What a great job we did as an American host. The international people, they had their own opinions, a lot of them, and they were hesitant about the United States hosting the World Cup. And what a fantastic job we did, as we see. Even yesterday, I added a tweet up. It's funny because they were in my old home stomping grounds, North Jersey. So I said, hey, just to let you people know they're at the World Cup game after you're done celebrating or, of course, crying if you had the losing team. Rutt's hot dog place right down the street there, 15 minutes, some of the best hot dogs in the world. I put up a tweet there just to show people some of the things around. People don't know like the local New Jersey, flair. I don't know how big hot dogs are internationally. I know they're not good for you, but if you're gonna try one of the staples, I said, hey, there's one right down the street from. I'll always say the Meadowlands, MetLife, and I'll always say the Meadowlands there. But yeah, we did a great job hosting the major the finals, but also all over the country hosting games. It was a great job all around, and I'm going to say the best team got there. But watching that game, at one time it was like I don't know 18 or 19 shots to zero, but yet shots on goal, but yet the score was 0-0. I really thought that it was going to be, a team that was so aggressive, but yet their goalkeeper was unbelievable, stopping shots. They were missing shots, and I just thought that maybe there'll be a big upset in the making here. So, but however, it was an interesting game. I'd like to know what the sports books did. I had the director of risk on my Fox Sports Radio show on yesterday, and this is exactly what he said. The ideal score would be 0-0 after regulation time for us to make a nice score. And I'll always
Really?
say this. In the end, I always say it. God protects the bookmaker. That's the exact score MGM needed, was 0-0 regulation. I don't know why. I don't like I didn't really
That's
ask.
strange.
We
Huh.
just asked what their best result was. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that strikes me as odd because I would have figured unders for 90 minutes would have been a big
under
play with
probably
Spain,
was.
but zero
Yeah,
zero is just 0-0 is an odd. I guess they must have had a lot of action on Spain to win in the first 90 minutes, but that's surprising. That's surprising that a 0-0 would be the score. So
yeah.
you and I are golf guys. My God, what an upset. Ryan Fox comes out
Ryan
of
Fox.
nowhere to win the Open Championship. It's a great
Yeah.
story, and it is cool because by all accounts, he's like one of the nicest guys on tour. But we did terrible, and we only had 2 best bets, lost them both. I had Matthew Fitzpatrick top 20. He didn't even make the cut. I don't know what happened there. Did you do anything with this one? Because I have a
You
feel
know,
like
the
this was a big one for the books.
I guess that was a New Zealand victory there, and he was very, very gracious at the end. He was pretty solid throughout. Didn't really say too much, but you kind of knew one of those guys that aren't big names was going to step up and win that one. Um, sports books again. Sports books make all the money. Scheffler, DeChambeau, all the bets were on those 2 guys. If I'm willing to say this, if you bet Scheffler any given tournament, you're not getting the right odds. The sports book knows which way you're betting. They are not paying you the right amount of money that he's going to be worth. I don't care how good he is, and he almost came back. I understand a couple putts, couple shots, he would have won the tournament, but. Uh, I just when I'm watching the tournament over there compared to our majors, whether it be the U.S. Open or of course the Masters, and I see that the course conditions there. I say to myself, "Wow, it's amazing that this is always a major." But the history of golf over across the pond, I fully get the difference. And for everyone that's always been there, they have told me it's unbelievable over there. So watching these golfers play that major, yeah, I think we went 1-0-1, I believe, on matchups. So I think we yeah, I think we went 1-0-1 on our matchups. I'm not going to look now, but uh, very tough. It's very tough to win a major across the pond. So someone would step up like a Ryan Fox, and that's I was trying to think. I was rooting for who was leading. Who was leading yesterday, Andy? Going in on the day, he
Well,
wasn't supposed to be there at the tournament. His
Cameron
wife,
Young made it would have been one of
no,
the, and then Sam Burns, if you're talking
Sam
about the
Burns.
guy,
Is that
yeah,
when his wife was pregnant?
his
He
wife
wasn't
gave
supposed to.
birth.
Right, that was
Yeah.
it. Sam Burns. So his wife was he wasn't even supposed to be there, and he's like, he talks to his wife. He gave birth earlier in the week, or I think about a week ago, and he's like, what should we do? She's like, go play, go win, And he didn't win, but he made $1 million. So it's always a good story over there, and I'm glad the Live Tour. I just had $1 million for coming in like third. I'm glad the Live Tour opened up and the PGA opened their wallets and made these events big money events now. They used to get like 900,000 for first. That's a lot of money, I understand, but the PGA is they were making so much money instantly. Now after the competition, they're making 3-4 million for a lot of these tournaments for first prize. Perfect example is after the Masters, the next week is Hilton Head, the Heritage, and the Heritage, used to be an event where it was $1 million first prize. I think it was almost up to 4 million. I think it was $4 million this year. So a lot of the guys go right from Augusta, right down the road there. I say down the road; it's a few hours away to the Hilton Head because of the money is so good. So I'm glad about that. It was a great Sunday after last week. It was so like kind of boring. You had like the dull of summer with the All-Star break, no real events to wager on, maybe some summer league or something, but nothing crazy to bet on. Then yesterday you had, I'll call it a great doubleheader. You had, of course, the golf, which was finishing up around 10 or 11 in the morning here, West Coast time, and then you had to get in about an hour break to get some breakfast, and the World Cup game came on. It was a really good day in sports yesterday for the fans. And one thing I'll never understand, but I see it all the time. People have to have a bet in order to watch a game or to watch a competition. Oh, I gotta have some kind of a wagering aspect to it. Well, my friends, if that's your mentality, you better treat it as a social thing. Enjoy yourself and make sure you make a lot of money on your 9 to 5 job, because you're not going to win betting sports just because you want to watch a game and you have to bet the game. You're going to, long term, you will not, you'll be chasing it forever, just watching something on TV and making a wager because it's on that TV set. So that's not the way to bet. It's not, now if you do it socially, I say it, you know, people go shopping, they go on vacation, they go out to eat nice dinners. Uh, you know, I get it. You want a nice car, whatever. You want to spend money and enjoy it socially. Great. If you want to do this socially, enjoy yourself, make your bets on the game. I'm telling you though, you're not going to make money long term betting sports.
My two neighbors, they're the exact same way. I have a buddy. He will, if he knows he wants to watch a game, he puts like some money on it, just to make it interesting. Or if we're gonna watch Monday Night Football, I'll put something on it. That way I have something interesting to watch. My other buddy, he was betting on every World Cup game and he was doing terrible, so he just decided to stop betting it, and he also decided to stop watching it.
Wow.
It's really weird. You're 100% right. It's 100% right. There's two examples for you right there. So,
well, Andy, just to let you know, I have bet sports for a living for 30 years. I have friends around me that they bet their own stuff. They want nothing to do with anything I say, even though they know I win long term, because one, they have egos. They want to say they originated something. Two, they want to pat themselves on the back when it's over. They want to say, "Oh man, look what I did. Look at, I could do this. I could do." And three, this is just so crazy thinking about this. Um, they just don't care. They just don't care because they want to treat it socially. And I say crazy. I just said it before. I guess crazy is too big of a word. They just want to just let me gamble. Like my father, God bless him, when he was alive, he used to sit next to me and he would play his jacks or better. I'd show him the jacks or better. 9-6 jacks or better. That's what it's called. 9 is the payout on the full house. 6 is the payout on the flush. It's a 99.5 game if you play it properly with the right strategy. And he was playing bonus games when they were down to like 97.5, 98%. And I'm telling him, okay, Dad, you want to hold 2 pair, you want to do this, you want to do, and I was telling him, well, no, go for the flush there. Don't hold the pair of 5s. And he would say to me, son, I work 50 hours a week. You're taking my fun away. I just want to enjoy the game and play. And I'm thinking to myself, what is wrong with me? He was right. He's playing $1.25 a hand. Doesn't matter. It could be $5 a hand. Really, it's your enjoyment. Then enjoy it. And I have friends that just want to enjoy it. They want to work, 50 hours a week. They don't care about the mathematical edge. I'll never understand that. I look at gambling so differently. When I walk into a casino, when I walk into a sports book, I look at gambling so differently. I know how predatory some of these newer sports books that have come to the country are, how they gouge prices, how they appeal to kids with their advertisement, how they take advantage of situations, how they want to offer buyouts right after you make a bet at 80%, 70%. It's just all skewed one way. And they've hoped to condition the new gambler to the way they want you to bet. That's not what I do. I'm literally a lion looking for weak gazelle. So that's what I do.
Before I let you go, what do you do this time of year? I mean, with fewer sports.
Yeah. I didn't think you meant yard work. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah. No, we're doing. We have, of course, we had baseball. We're just getting over the summer league now. We just got over, but baseball right now. Golf. I just had a golf up. I'm gonna probably start a little bit more in the UFC space too, because I've been getting some real good UFC stuff debating whether to start sending it out, and I actually like what I've been seeing the last few months. And I know the person is a winning originator. So, but of course, we have preseason football here, only 3 weeks away. That's what I'm looking forward to. Preseason, of course, only a few weeks of it, but then you get right into the NFL season and NFL player props, and that's where it's at for me. And of course, right now I'm still doing WNBA props and a little bit of WNBA, but look forward to this. Listen, I'm a broken record. I said it last year. When I tell someone to get a board, you should get a board. When I told you to get a board for March Madness, I told you to get a board for Super Bowl props. I'm telling you, get a board for NFL player props and especially preseason. Have your email notifications on so you get alerted right when you get an email from me. That's the stuff that I'm really looking forward to. Get on for a long-term package. It's the value compared to daily picks or whatever it may be. And let's earn some money together.
All right, Bill Krackenberger, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck, and yeah, get all
Thanks.
Bill's plays over there. I'll give everyone this tip here. The easiest way to get all of your plays sent to you, create a new Gmail that's like your name, WagerTalk@gmail.com. So like Steve Merril, WagerTalk@gmail.com. Don't use it for anything else. Let WagerTalk customer service you want that to be your email in the system. And that way you can set your notifications to an email that you don't use for anything else. That's what I do. That's what I recommend doing. It's the easiest way to get all your plays notified. So we're going to break down an NFL future prop. We got a quarterback to talk about. But first, we got to talk to Steve Merril. Steve, we're going to give away a 3-day pass here, and the 3-day pass based on our shirts last week.
I knew you were. I should have known you weren't going to wear it. I purposely didn't wear it because I didn't think Dan was on. I was like, we can't have the exact same. And I was like, but Andy will think even one level deeper. So I wore a nice Land of the Free. We got Ollie's. I don't know if you guys have Ollie's. I was there last month. They had all these USA shirts for $5. I got a nice red one, and I got this one I wore yesterday for the first time. It's a really comfortable shirt, actually. Yeah, and so, I mean, the USA wasn't in the finals, right? But I thought, like Bill said, they represented really well this World Cup.
Just missed the finals, Steve, in the World Cup.
Just a bit outside.
So this was a great comment. It says Andy wore the shirt better because Steve's logo was just a bit outside.
There we go.
That's a great comment.
That's
so
awesome.
Congratulations, Icetown. We're going to put that in your account starting today. Steve, dog days of summer. What are you focusing on now at this time of year?
Yeah, baseball. It's a slow grind, and we've been off to a nice, perfect sweep since the All-Star break. We've had one play per day, and we've won every one of them so far this second half of the season. I've got one best bet tonight on Monday. And, of course, the bonus free play, when you're selective, that last cut that is just a bit outside is a strong opinion still. So I highly recommend people go get the bonus free play every day also, including a free play in the Pirates-Yankees game tonight on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Well, let's talk about a couple of games that are on the board. Obviously, probably the marquee game is going to be this Dodgers and Phillies game, but we're also going to talk Orioles, Red Sox. Let's start with this one. Philly coming in at a favorite. Boy, how many times this year you think you're going to get to bet on the Dodgers as underdogs? But Sheehan's going for Dodgers, Sanchez for Phillies. I can't bet on Sanchez right now, Steve. I'm interested in your take. He's not horrible, but I just don't think he's what he was at the beginning of the season. But how do you break this down?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not what he was at the beginning of the season. To put this in perspective, he still has a 2.6 ERA on the year, even though his last 7 starts since early June, he has a 5.1 ERA. So he has a 5.05 ERA his last 7 starts. He's still at 2.6 for the season. That tells you how strong he was to start the year. And yes, there's potential there, but momentum, current results are so important. And it's not misleading. Sanchez has been lit up his last 2 outings. Before the All-Star break on July 6th, he gave up 12 hits in just 3 innings, 9 runs. Yes, he only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings coming back on July 11th, but it's a little misleading. He gave up 10 hits in those 7 innings of work. So I still think he's given up a lot of hits, 22 hits in his last 10 innings, his last 2 outings. I think that's a bad sign. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper than just earn runs. I still think probably the best metric overall, better than ERA, is whip. Whip it good is walks and hits plus innings pitched. And the hits have definitely been flying. So the Dodgers are a dangerous team when you're giving up hits. Obviously, they're offensively capable. Weird series in the Yankees. They had the low-scoring game one. Saturday, I did a video for the Saturday night game. I thought it'd be higher scoring, and they postponed it because of the smoke, which was really a factor. Luckily for the World Cup, it cleared out with some rains and everything on Saturday, and the rains they got up there in the Northeast as well. So they played the doubleheader against the Yankees yesterday. Won the game 8-2 and then lost 2-1. So you do have to worry about a little bit of a hangover. Even though this is a huge game against the Phillies, maybe a little bit of a letdown after playing the Yankees this past weekend. Phillies also, though, coming off a big series against the Mets. Right out of the gate, I did a free play video last Thursday for that ESPN Spotlight game. I mentioned that, the drawdown after the layoff, the All-Star break, could sometimes be a letdown for hot teams. You can revitalize struggling teams. The Mets were 40-57. Heading into the All-Star break. They went 2-1 against Philly on the road this past weekend. I actually liked the Mets yesterday in that 6-1 win. I gave out the Phillies on Saturday as my free play in their 6-1 win. As I mentioned, I had a free play on the Mets on Thursday. So I was a perfect 3-0 in that series with free plays and selections overall. So I had a good read on it. Still think the Phillies are a legitimate team. Don Mattingly, favorite to be the National League Manager of the Year, even though he didn't take over till a month in because he has turned this team around. Not a great spot for either squad after the big weekend series. I do still think Sanchez is hittable, and Sheehan has been very hittable as well. 4.8 ERA overall this year. And if you go back to his last 7 starts since June 1st, 5.0 ERA. So 2 pitchers that have been getting weaker here the last couple months. 2 very capable offenses, yet the total is only 8.5. We always talk about how 9 is such a key number. I like the over in this one, over 8.5 between the Phillies and Dodgers at 7 Eastern tonight on Monday.
I concur. I agree. I think there are runs in this one. So I was stunned at how noticeable the smoke is. I had to drive up to northern Indiana, and I started feeling it. And
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it really was. So now the reason I had to go up there, Steve, was we took our truck in for maintenance.
Oh yeah, I heard about that Friday.
Yeah.
They did an excellent job.
What a great job. Yeah, we drive it once, it breaks down. They go, I don't know what happens. Like, did you check the water pump
repeat
like we
business.
asked? Yeah, did you check the water pump like we asked? No.
Yeah, Andy, as you and I get older in life, like, I know you've realized this now, but, as kids, you always assume, like, every politician's, like, the smartest guy on earth. Every CEO is the smartest guy, right? You know what I mean? You also assume, like, anybody that owns, like, an auto mechanic store is, like, the smartest auto repair guy in history. And then you come to realize, hey, you're smarter than a lot of people out there. And, hey, 50% of the population's in the dumber half of the country. That's a fact. And then, you see all this other stuff, too, as well. Like, you just realize that they also just don't care. And that's how it goes back to the politician thing. It's our money that they're wasting. They just don't care. And these guys, they're fixing your truck. They're thinking about watching the World Cup Sunday. They don't care. And they just they might be hungover. You just don't. They might be going through a divorce. You never know what's going on. You gotta check your own stuff, right? And you gotta hold people accountable. It's so tough.
Well, and it's not just the money; it's the time and I had to drop what I was doing to drive up to northern Indiana to pick up a stranded crew. So, all right, let's move on to the next one: Orioles and Red Sox. We got Shane Baz going for Baltimore and Tolley for Boston. Boston, pretty big favorite here, over under 8.5. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, it's another team. We talked about this on last call this past Saturday. Brian Leonard and myself, we broke down the Tampa Bay Boston game on Saturday. And, I mentioned earlier how a lot of times that, all-star break, the bye in the NFL or college football, it's kind of a momentum changer, meaning like cold teams need it, like the Mets. They went 2-1 out of the gate here this past week, whereas the Phillies cooled off a bit. Well, that hasn't been the case for the Red Sox. And it's not always just a written rule. It's just kind of a premise I look at. And Red Sox are a team you really do not want to get in front of right now. They are red hot, to say the least. Came on an extended run into the All-Star break, and they have kept it going since. In fact, they're 4-0 out of the break, and it's not misleading. Offensive momentum, baby. They put up 28 runs in those 4 games against Tampa Bay on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we always talk about don't try to catch a falling knife. Well, Gabe Morency and I years ago came up with the contrary to that, a hot team. Don't try to jump in front of a speeding bullet or a speeding train, whatever phrase you want to use. And this is momentum right now with the Red Sox. So it's really hard to fade Boston. With that said, though, my Baltimore Orioles, as a child, we didn't have the Washington Nationals. They've always been my Baltimore Orioles. They've quietly won 7 in a row in this series so far, including 3 straight after the break, all 3 at Houston in impressive wins this past weekend. So 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. I really don't want to get in front of either one of them right now. So here again, what is the case when you normally have hot teams? Well, as I said, there's usually offensive momentum. Let's not overthink this one. Pun intended. We'll look at the over 9 here, and we're actually getting plus money over 9 or over 8 minus 120. I prefer the over 8 minus 120 because, once again, 9 is a very key number. The reason being, if it's 4-4, it has to land 9 or more because there are no ties in baseball except in one All-Star game a couple decades ago. I think both these teams can hit the ball tonight. And if you look at the pitching matchup, also 2 very hittable pitchers as well. Both of them have ERAs over 4 their last 7 starts going back to early June. And keep in mind, I talk about a lot of these guys have worse numbers here than the beginning of the season. That makes sense because you normally see that league-wide for a couple of reasons. First of all, pitchers are usually ahead of the offenses early in the season. We see that in football as well. Defenses are ahead of the offenses. We're going to see some low preseason NFL games next month when they start, low scoring that is. But also because of the weather. Ball travels better in hot air in August, late July, August than it does in April and May or, late March even. So do look for some scoring in this game. I like the offensive momentum, and I also think both pitchers are hittable. So we'll play over 9 even or preferably over 8.5 minus 120. So shop around, find the best number in this one at 7 Eastern.
It is amazing how long the baseball season is. It starts off cold, then it goes all the way through the hottest time of year, and then it ends when it's cold again. It's like,
well, Andy, yeah, it's like almost 7 months. It's more than half a year. And here's what I tell people: Bill's talking about watching the World Cup. As you know, we talked about it Friday. I really got into it as I do every year. I never had any interest in it, and about once the knockout round starts, I end up watching almost every game because I like sports that matter. And that's the same reason I get into the NBA playoffs, the NFL playoffs. But it's also why it's tough to watch baseball because, as you said, it's a long season. But think about this: 162 games, which means every game is like 0.5% of your overall record. It does not matter. Like if you win or lose on any given day, it absolutely does not matter. We talked about this Saturday on Last Call. Gianni the Greek and I and Brian Leonard also. The worst teams in baseball are going to win 40% every year. Right now, there are 3 teams at 38, 39%. They're the 3 worst teams in baseball. That means they're going to still win over 60 games this year, whereas the best team in baseball barely wins 60%, which is 97 wins. They're going to lose over 60 games a year. When you do that math, it's crazy. Today's baseball card is the equivalent of an entire NFL week, one day, So in 1 week of baseball, it's almost half an NFL season. Yeah, the numbers are, I think, 2,540 games or something in an MLB season. You will do yourself a disservice if you try to watch every one of them.
It's crazy trying to do that. So here's my World Cup story. So yesterday at halftime, I go to this bar down the street because they got good food, get food for me and my wife. And I don't like going there because they're bartenders, man. They're the worst. I walk in, it's halftime of the World Cup. They have the Cubs game on the big screen. The score is 10-0 in the 7th inning, and that's the audio. The World Cup was like off to the side. Do you think
it was like that during the first half? There's no way.
Yes, I do, because there were people like off to the side, not watching the big one, watching the side. And one woman is wearing a Spain shirt. And so she goes up and asks this guy, and he's an older guy. He wears a veteran's hat, so you can't say anything to him because now you're the guy like getting mad at him at a vet. And she goes, "Can you turn the audio on the soccer game?" And he says, and I quote, "Why, for the 4 people that are in here that care?"
That's exactly why there's only 4 people in there.
This place
exactly.
is the worst.
Well, yeah, and of course he doesn't realize that's the reason there's only 4 soccer fans in there because the Cubs game is on the big screen TV. Is that the local team for your area? I mean, Indiana.
Who?
I mean, I'm trying to think who would be closer for you guys.
Yeah, it's Cubs. There's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know Brewers were closer or Cubs. I mean, Illinois would be the closest, probably, right?
No, it's Cubs. We got a lot of Cubs fans, but I will say that the fandom of the Cubs has gone down since they won the World Series. It was like everyone liked being a part of the lovable losers that could never, and then they win the World Series, and it's just like.
Are you closer to Cincinnati or Cleveland or Chicago, like geographically?
Cincinnati. I can.
So that's what I thought. You're probably not
easy.
closer to Chicago, but that's the big name team for 100 years. So
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, with Cubs. So what do you have for everybody on Monday?
We should have gone in. You should have gone, who's winning? And then the answer would have been the Bears from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What's the score? 1-1. Who's winning? The Bears. Yeah, that's crazy. Good business model. Nice thing that you bought some food there. Otherwise, they might be going out of business. So you're keeping them afloat.
Not anymore.
I don't blame you, man. That's ridiculous.
Just mouthing off to a woman that's wearing a Spain shirt while Spain is playing the World Cup is like truly next.
And look, man, I get the whole like we're Americans, we're anti-soccer or whatever. I mean, you're a soccer guy. You played, so it's different for you. And I grew up around a soccer family as well, even though I didn't play. But you got to love competition, right? Whether it's axe throwing or anything that matters. Like I said, if it's a playoff, a high level, I mean, so they got Polymarket has the odds on this. The numbers haven't come out yet, but it's at 37% that the viewership is going to be over 54 million, I think is what it was, 58 million in the U.S. That's like, like a fifth of the country watching the game. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty incredible. It's like half the Super Bowl, obviously, but still, that's stubborn. I hate to say it, but it's really just ignorant also. That's a great story, though.
Yeah. What do you have up for everyone?
Yeah, so like I said, we're churning along in baseball. We're being very selective. We have swept every board so far since the All-Star break, and we're looking to do it again tonight. The strongest baseball play on the board for Monday is isolated on my page right now, along with a bonus free play in that Pirates-Yankees game. Even if you're doing your own handicapping every day, make it part of your handicapping routine to check out my page for that detailed analysis and free play, and also look at tonight's best bet. And don't forget, buy 3 days, get 3 days. It's still in effect. And also the 6-week special, every all sports best bet for baseball, NFL preseason, and that first week of college football is also available. No promo codes needed. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM.
Before we let you go, we got a question. Why is 9 a key number in baseball?
Yeah, so I mean, I keep saying this because I know we always have new viewers and there's a lot of new bettors, but I feel like a broken record. So for those of you that hear me say it every week, that's the reason, because there's always going to be a viewer that's asking. It's a great question. 9 is a key number, just like 7. First of all, odd numbers are more key than even numbers in baseball because you can't have ties, which means if a game is 3-3, it can't land 6. You're going to have to get to 7. If a game is 4-4, it has to get to 9 or more. So 7 and 9s are more likely than 6s or 8s. 11, same as 10. But once you get to the higher numbers, 9 is a really key number. Most games land around 9 total runs. So it's the most key total in baseball. 7 and 11, no Slurpee intended. I used to love the baseball hologram coins on the bottom of a Slurpee. Squirrel. Oh, wait. 7, 11 would be the next key numbers, but 9 is definitely the key number with totals. So it's worth about 25 cents. So there again, if you're getting 9 over even, I'd rather lay the extra juice. 9 over minus 120. 9 over minus 125, 9 over even, probably the same long term. But you are going to win more games with over 8.5 because 9 is a key number.
All right, good stuff. Steve Merril.
Andy, did you have the hologram Slurpee disc when you were growing up on the bottom of the cups? You remember those?
Of course. Yeah.
I don't think anybody watching under 40 probably remembers what I'm talking about, but they were pretty damn cool.
They were pretty cool. I liked them. Get them for like, those Slurpees were 50 cents.
So I got to ask you, so I had Baltimore Orioles because I was Northern Virginia. We didn't have the Nationals, right? What team would you have had? Would it have been Cubs or would it have been the Reds since you were closer?
No,
so it would have been Cubs. See, that's very
There's
interesting.
no Cincinnati Reds fans around here. It's all Cubs.
Right, but they would have known. I thought maybe they would do it geographically and say, this 7-Eleven is closer to Cincy, so we're going to do. So you still got Cubs. Cool.
Yep, maybe always Cubs around.
I hope you got a Ryan Sandberg.
My buddy's favorite player was Mark Grace. So Mark
Grace was great.
We took him to a Cubs game. We kidnapped him when he was coming out of his place for work and took him to Chicago for a day Cubs game and got him a Mark Grace jersey, and that was his bachelor party. It was awesome.
Mark Grace, Sean Dunston, Ryan Sandberg, Rick Sutcliffe, some great late 80s, early 90s players. I, of course, was Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray. I was always excited if I got one of their coins.
Nice. All right, Steve Merril,
thanks Andy.
For joining. Appreciate you guys. Okay, $5 tennis play is up. 4% MLB prop of the day is up. That's over at WT.buzz/AL. We're seeing both of those sports really well. Appreciate everyone for joining us on the 2 5% plays. It's nervous when you have 1 5% play up for a weekend. When you have 2 of them up, now you're really nervous, and we were able to cash both of those. So that was big. I'm hoping to get this week started off right. So don't mess around. Go get that $5 play. Johnny said put it up now since it starts early in the morning. So let's get a little Tuesday wake in cash, but let's talk NFL futures. Here is the schedule for this week. Monday, we're doing quarterback with Baker Mayfield. Tuesday, we're going to talk receiving yards with T. Higgins. Wednesday, Blake Corum. I can't wait to talk about that one. And then we had to do the New England Patriots on their over-under total. And then we got Friday, viewer picks. So put it in the comment section. Just let me know if you want a player prop, a season wins, anything that we can break down on Friday. But we're going to start with Baker Mayfield and his passing numbers over under 3,599.5. So where do we land on this one? Well, let's talk a little bit about Baker. Last year, he played 17 games. He was not 100% healthy. We'll just say that. But he's a gamer. And he played all 17 games, 63.2% completion. He did get over this total last year, 3,693 yards. You look at the breakdown of who caught those passes. Ibuka, 938 yards. Cade Otton, second on the team with 572. Sterling Shepard, 371. Mike Evans only played 8 games. He had 368. Chris Godwin, 9 games at 360. And the running backs had around 810. So look at the depth chart of who he's throwing to this year. It's Godwin, Ibuka, Jalen McMillan, Cade Otton, Bucky Irving, and Kenneth Gainwell. Looked up the offensive line rankings, and they have one of the better offensive lines when healthy, and they return 5 starters. Baker Mayfield's in his early 30s, and he's wanting a contract extension, and the Bucs appear to not be giving it to him before the season starts. So he is going to be motivated to put on a show to try and get that contract extension. It's a 4th straight year with a new offensive coordinator. They just keep going through offensive coordinators. This year it's Zach Robinson. He came from Atlanta. Just pull some stats from there. Penix and Cousins combined for 3,700 passing. Bijan Rush for 1,478. Bucs have a pretty good schedule. Only one outdoor game with potentially bad weather in December. That's a game at Baltimore. They got home games. They got indoor games. Baker's playing for a new contract extension. We've got continuity on the offensive line. Godwin hopefully stays healthy. Ibuka in his second year. I don't like normally taking overs, especially when a guy's starting to get a little aged and has had some injuries, but he played through them last year. I'm going to lean to the over on Baker Mayfield, 3,599.5 passing. Not strong enough to be a client play, but that is how I would lean. So, okay. Carm, you come on the show and break down the 2030 World Cup. Can we get a bet? We get a bet down on the 2030 future, tie up our money for 4 years. So, Baker's sneakily been a really good over better on his touchdown passes over the last couple years. They always put him at 1.5 touchdown passes, and he throws for 2 quite a bit. So Baker Mayfield over. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hit the like button, drop a comment. Tell me what future prop you want us to break down on Friday. We'll get that squared away. Get it to me early. That way I can do my research properly. So come prepared. All right. We got $5 Tuesday tomorrow. We got Dinger Tuesday tomorrow. Tennis best bet is up. 4% MLB prop is up. And don't forget to go to the free picks page. A lot of free picks up there. Be careful with your bankroll this time of year. This is the time of year where board bets lose. You fire off a bet just because there's a baseball game on or because there's a WNBA game on. So make sure we're betting smart. Protect that bankroll. Got to get ready for a big fall. Thanks very much. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck on all your bets. See you tomorrow. Take care.